You are anxious because your to-do list is too long. Do you see all the dots on the calendar? That is real. You tell yourself that once you finally catch up or you hit the next revenue goal or Christmas is over or summer is done, the dread in your chest will finally disappear. But this is the brutal truth. Your anxiety has almost nothing to do with your workload. It is a physical alarm in your body that has forgotten how to turn off. You aren't stressed because you're busy. You're busy because you're using hustle to outrun a nervous system that feels unsafe. Mic drop. Let me say that again. You aren't stressed because you're busy. You are busy because you are using hustle to outrun a nervous system that feels unsafe. And today I'm revealing the reason why you feel so on edge, specifically at work. And it isn't what your therapist or business coach told you. I need you to stay till the end, the very end, because I'm going to give you a 5-second physical reset that will help us get back out of our bodies and into a clear mind when we get into that anxiety spiral that will stop it before it ruins your entire workday. So let's get to it. So Mel Robbins says that anxiety isn't just worried thoughts. It is the physical sensation of alarm going off in your body. And this episode is so deeply personal to me today because this is something I have been struggling with in this season of life. So I have diagnosed generalized anxiety disorder. I've struggled with anxiety since I was a teenager. So this is not me, a talking head on the other side of the screen or the microphone telling you this from like a book. This is me telling you real lived experience. But for high achievers, this alarm like in our body so many times is ringing so loudly and it's just become like our normal background noise. And we think that it's our drive, but it's actually our body in the state of constant survival. Our like innate immune systems and like the basic functionality of our animalistic being cannot tell the difference in the stack of papers and the things that we're wanting to get done versus a tiger chasing us. And because of that, there's so much physical response that comes into that. And so here's some truths that I want to speak into, that part of your soul and that part of your body that can feel what it is that I'm talking about, that can almost mirror probably what I've been going through in this season of life as well. And the truth number one is procrastination is not laziness. I feel like I have to take a deep breath on that one. When you avoid that big project, you aren't being lazy. You're seeking a stress relief. You just need a minute sometimes. And your brain sees that big thing as a threat, and procrastinating is your way of stepping away from the tiger, right, that was chasing you. So you have to stop shaming yourself for procrastinating and acknowledge that you're stressed and lower your barrier to entry, which means I'm not going to tackle the whole project, but maybe I will log in and open the spreadsheet and start at the very first thing I need to do next. And then sometimes from there, dopamine will carry you the rest of the way to finish the project or make a big dent. But otherwise, you've made a little more progress than you did the day before. And if you want to learn to lead your business from a place of power instead of a place of panic, hit subscribe on your whatever platform you're listening on today, because I'm here to help you build that 7-figure empire that doesn't cost you your mental health in the process. You can be someone that struggles and also still be successful. I feel like that needs to be on a shirt somewhere. All right. The truth number 2 that I want to speak into this place of anxiety is about the hustle addiction, because high functioning anxiety often looks like overachieving. You take on more work because doing is what makes you feel in control, but you are just pouring more water into a leaky bucket. And so you cannot outwork a nervous system that's fried. You have to address the alarm, not the to-do list, which means we have to be able to identify that we are taking on that hustle mindset. And the busyness, if you can be busy enough, you can be good enough. If I can be busy enough, maybe I'm good enough. Because if I'm not busy, I'm not needed. And if I'm not needed, I'm not enough. And if we can break that pattern, that cycle of thinking and realizing that who we are is not what we do, then we can start to take off some of that cloak of anxiety and breathe a little bit and take some common sense and positive thoughts into what's happening, especially when you get into like tense environments at work, which, you know, if I'm being honest, this is applicable to your whole, like all your relationships in life, right? But work seems sometimes to be such a trigger and such a high area of anxiety for high achievers. All right. The third truth is the what if loop. And I struggle with this one. Oh, I struggle with this one. So I spend my entire evening or sometimes laying in bed at night or when I first wake up in the morning, playing out the worst case scenarios for your business. So if I don't get this many customers and I don't do this and I don't do that and I don't get this and this and this, the whole thing's going to fail and I'm going to file bankruptcy. I'm not going to be able to pay my bills and because my brain is doing that to protect me by worrying, but it's not working. It's just rehearsing the failure. And so to be able to speak truth back into that is, you know, what level of income does my business actually need to survive? What level of income does my business actually need to have profit at 10%, at 12%, 15%? Figure out the reality of what's happening before letting yours, like when you start to get into that spiral. And sometimes you have to identify the what if loop that you're on before you can actually address it and tackle it. Okay. And if you've built a successful business and you're too anxious to enjoy it, guilty right here, your systems are likely broken. And once I started implementing systems and documentation into our business, it changed everything. It helped free up my brain space. It helped me to build more intentional, deep relationships. And we can fix that foundation of your business without throwing it out like all the way and allow you to actually breathe again. So you can book a strategy call. We talk with people every week who are in this exact same situation, and you are not alone, but we can get you back in the driver's seat and still feel like you have some like space in your chest to breathe, you know? And so here's the 5-second physical reset I said at the very beginning of the episode that I was going to share with you. So sometimes you can't think your way out of a physical alarm. Okay. And so to avoid a full-on panic attack, we have to use a physical intervention. And so the technique is a 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 or 5-second rule to interrupt that habit of worrying. Okay. And it works really good with children too. And so it's 5 things I can see. I can see a curtain. I can see a scale. I can see a book. I can see an Afghan. I can see a pillow. It is 4 things that I can touch. I can touch my hair. I can touch my chair. I can touch my microphone. I can touch my table. Was that 4? And I can touch my pen. I don't know if that was 4. That might have been 5. 3 things that you can hear. I can hear the birds. I can hear the TV. I can hear the clicking of a mouse. Okay. 2 things that you can smell. I smell my perfume. I smell bacon in the kitchen. And 1 thing that you can taste. I taste the last drink of my tropical peach tea that I just had. Okay, now I've just totally interrupted everything that was happening in my brain. And now I'm not even sure what I was so panicked about. But it works really great with children. It works really great in our own minds. And it also helps other people feel very seen in their moments of need. So from a place of leadership and communication, being able to help others even when it's not easy, like that will build loyalty and connection with those people around you more than any pat on the back and good job could ever do. Because at the end of the day, we can't outthink our nervous system responses. Okay. We're not in charge of those, like not automatically. And so if we can stop trying to outrun our anxiety at work and start learning to lead our bodies, our peace is what will actually ultimately become our competitive advantage.